Hey, what's up, guys? In this video, I wanted to talk about concept-based learning when it comes to learning how to code, learning programming, learning web development. So there's different approaches you can take in learning web development or programming. Uh, you can take the approach of watching videos all day and not coding. You can take the approach of watching coding videos that are project based. And really, out there on the internet, there's really those two options. I rarely see any other options. They have text based, interactive type coding. Those might work, but but a lot of times I see these two types of learning, ways of learning. You have videos that teach you uh, about the programming language or the technology, and then you have these videos where it's like project based using the technology. So really, it's like videos teaching you the technology, and then there's videos using the technology in a project. But what's missing, I feel like, is concepts. So concepts is not technology specific, right? The concept is by itself, right? It could be implemented in many different technologies. So I feel like that's what's missing, and that's why learning programming is difficult, because when you go to learn programming on these online resources, they're either showing you the technology, which is like the tool, they're showing you the projects, which is like implementation, but you don't have the concept. So right here I have a chart. Programming really, if you're learning programming, there's really three parts. There's the technology, there's the concept, and then there's the implementation. What do I mean by concept? The concept is different things or parts that will make up the project when it's finished, right? If you think about it, you have a website, right? The website will have a database, a server, a front end, stuff like that, right? But then inside the front end, inside the server, inside the database, there's concepts to that, right? There's things you have to learn and understand before you start using those technologies. And a lot of times I just see videos that either show you the technology or they show you building something, and it's lacking the whole concept. And of course you can learn the concepts through the project based tutorials, which is, the implementation, but it's harder. So that is why you would get this situation where you have a beginner jump in, they start trying to code in the project based tutorials, and they only know how to build that one specific app, and they can't build anything for themselves. They can't, and the only thing they could do is copy what the guy showed them, right? They're just sitting there copying code. That is not how you code. You do not copy code. That's the complete opposite. When you're coding, you have no help. You have no, and what I mean by no help is you have no project there with all the code finished that you just copy. There is no copying in programming. You literally have to figure out the problem and and make a solution, right? Come up with a solution. The other side of it is you learn the technology, but then you learn the technology, and now you're left to, how do I use this? Well, then you're going to go to the project based tutorial, and now you're going to learn how to copy code, but you're not going to be able to build anything for yourself. So you see what I mean? Like, what's missing is the concepts. So if you learn the concepts, you learn the technology, then you learn how to, first, I would say, before even learning technology, learn the concept, then learn how to implement that concept in that technology. Understand that that's a form of implementation. Then take that concept with that technology and build, and include it, not build, include it inside of a project. So you see what I mean? Like, it's like trying, and I put here blueprint house. It's like trying to build a house without a blueprint. You have the tools, you have the material to build the house, but you don't have a blueprint. So you don't know what it's going to look like, how much bedrooms, how much, what material, you just have this implementation, but no blueprint. So if you go to the project base, the guy's gonna give you an implementation, and you're gonna see some of the concepts in it, but you're just gonna be able to copy that exact house if you understand and learn. Okay, this is how I do the plumbing. This is how I make the bedroom. This is how I do the roof. This is how I lay the foundation. Then you're going to be able to take those concepts, take those tools, implementing those concepts, and build any type of house you want. Different color, different shapes. You see what I mean? So, and I have cake and flour and stuff like that. To explain the cake situation, you can build different types of cake. You got ice cream cake, normal cake, you got three layer cake, right? And if you just go to someone, they're gonna show you how to build one type of cake, and you might be able to get some concepts and stuff from that. But it's gonna be hard to build a different type of cake, right? And now you're just gonna be able to copy and copy. But the best way is to learn concepts and then take those concepts and put them together, and now you'll be able to build any type of cake you want, right? So that is the way to learn. Now, this is I'm kind of explaining the concept, and as you can see, you take multiple concepts and you can make multiple implementations from those concepts. So let's say you take a group of concepts you learn using a technology, you will be able to build this type of project, that type of project, this type of app, that type of app. And what's a way to practice this, right? Because I'm kind of giving you what you should do, but how do you actually do this, right? The way you do this is you pick a technology and you stick to it. Don't jump around, that'll just make it worse. You pick a technology, you stick to it, and then you learn concepts. So you learn, okay, how do I make a navigation bar? Because think about it, when you make a navigation bar, it doesn't matter what technology you use, most of the time it's going to be similar, right? So how do I make a navigation bar? How do I do authentication? How do I do login? Login doesn't matter what technology you use. It's pretty similar across multiple technologies. But think about it. You can pick that up from a project, but it's going to be harder because in project-based tutorials, they're not going to sit there and explain authentication. Usually, they brush over it and they just blast and code out on the screen, and you're just trying to keep up to copy it, right? So, learn the concept of authentication. Learn the concept of how do I build a responsive front end. Learn the concept of, okay, how do I build a web server? Okay, what goes into that? How do I connect it to a database? Right? Because all those concepts are going to be present no matter what technology you use, no matter what project you use. If you understand what I'm saying, how do you actually practice that so that you know the concepts regardless of the technology, and then you can build your own projects? Well, you want to, like I said, learn the concepts, learn how to do a specific part. Make sure it's general, not specific to a technology, but something that is across multiple technologies. That's how you know it's a concept. And then practice that in isolation. Have a throwaway project, have a test project where you practice that and you get that to work and try to do it in different ways, and then you can easily just take that part and just throw it in a project. Just like I said, authentication. You practice authentication in a throwaway project in isolation, you're going to know how to do authentication. Now when you go to the project, you're like, oh yeah, I've done this before. Authentication, boom, boom, boom. It doesn't matter what project you jump into. You can even jump into an existing project. You see the concept of authentication. You're like, oh yeah, I know that, right? Or MVC. You probably don't know what MVC is. But MVC is like a way to architect or a way to build your web server, right? If you learn MVC, doesn't matter what web server you go to, you like, oh yeah, there's MVC, right? So learn the concepts, practice the concepts in isolation with that technology you chose, and then you'll be able to easily include it in your projects, and you'll be able to just put it together. And you take these different concepts and put it together, and then it makes a whole complete project. So I hope that helps out. I hope that makes sense. And I just want to help you, because I went down that road of doing the project base and just copying and blasting out code, and I only knew how to copy that guy's code. And then I went the other way, where I just sat there and watched technology videos, and I knew a lot about syntax and the technology, React, I knew a lot of JavaScript, knew a lot of this and that, but then I didn't know how to actually use that language to build a project. And it was just this back and forth, learn technology, do project tutorials, and then I'm just like copying code. And I didn't realize, okay, let me focus on these concepts and practice these concepts in isolation, so that no matter what project I build, I'm able to build whatever I want, because I have all the concepts. Using the tool that I'm using, I can build whatever I want now, right? So I hope that was a help to you, and try to approach learning programming this way. Learn a concept, practice that concept in isolation with a throwaway project or a test project, something small, just only focusing on that concept and getting it down, practicing it, understanding it, breaking it apart, and then go ahead and take that concept and include it into a project. All right? I'll see you guys in the next one, and thanks for watching.